Welcome back. The federal government has announced plans to move some government agencies to occupy forfeited properties from the recoveries as a means of cutting down on government's recurrent expenditure. At a meeting with the ministry's steering committee of the efficiency unit, the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, said government will also, in addition, roll out a pricing guideline for ministries and agencies. According to her, the issuance of the new price guidelines will help the government cut down on its spending on rents and other daily consumables like stationery and fuel.
In the 6 months that the efficiency unit has operated, we have been able to generate data on the actual consolidated overhead expenditure of the government from 2012 to 2014. We've assessed the spending patterns of the government on overhead, and we have proposed strategies for moderating costs and promoting accountability and transparency in our spending. The issuance of price guidelines and initiatives for reducing expenditure on rent, on office and residential buildings. You may want to note that the average annual expenditure on rent for the 3-year period from 2012 to 2014 was 3.55 billion naira. This will be the primary focus area in the coming months. And to achieve that, we are already looking at using properties that were forfeited from recoveries and moving some of our agencies to occupy those properties rather than paying rent. It will be recalled that following the benefits observed at having an efficiency unit at federal level, the establishment of efficiency units in the states was recently adopted by the National Economic Council as part of the fiscal sustainability framework for Nigeria. Major savings are expected when ongoing engagement with the Bureau of Public Procurement and the pooling of MDA demand for standard products such as vehicles, computers, printers, photocopiers, diesel and stationery, to secure large discounts from suppliers, and issuance of price guidelines are developed and implemented. Price guidelines will ensure uniformity in the price at which MDAs purchase items, as well as transparency and value for money in the procurement process.
The Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun. The federal government, meanwhile, has opened its case against the former Minister of Interior, Abba Moro, who is standing trial for allegedly defrauding applicants seeking to join the Nigeria Immigration Service in 2014. The prosecutor, Aliyu Yusuf, called his first witness, a former Comptroller General of Immigration, Mr. David Paradang, who denied authorizing the recruitment exercise that claimed 15 lives and left about 165 others injured. He told the court that the federal government, under former President Goodluck Jonathan, waded into the exercise by authorizing the issuance of employment letters to families of the 15 persons who lost their lives. The witness adds that the employment letters were later withdrawn by officials at the Ministry of Interior. Trial has been adjourned to July 1st.
The first prosecution witness has more or less made very clear that this exercise was done professionally, and even though the events turned out to have been quite tragic, and it's very, very unfortunate, and the first defendant remains very regretful that it happened under his tenure, but it's very clear from the evidence so far that no wrongdoing has so far been disclosed on his part, so far as we can see. And when we come to cross-examine, you'll find that he was actuated at all times by the public interest and with the zeal to do the right thing and to correct the wrongs of the past.
We continued with the examination in chief of the first prosecution witness, and he has also tendered several documents, several letters, and tried to show that he was not part of the award of the contract for the recruitment. But luckily, he has closed his case, and by the next adjourned date, we'll cross-examine him. And then from the cross-examination, we'll be able to show that the evidence he has given today was not totally correct.
Let's switch lanes now to business news. Here's Anne Wawodo.
You first. First Bank.
Hello and welcome to Business News. MTN Nigeria has agreed to pay a reduced fine of 330 billion naira, and that's about $1.67 billion to the federal government in 6 installments over the next 3 years. In October last year, the South African telecoms operator was penalized for its inability to disconnect 5.2 million unregistered subscribers on its network. MTN had in February paid 50 billion naira in good faith as negotiations for the penalty fee continued, but this was later reduced to $3.9 billion. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, says the Buhari-led administration is focusing its attention on the construction of affordable houses for low-income earners in a bid to solve housing problems in Nigeria. Mr. Fashola also says that government will consult with individuals on payment options for various housing units.
There are many people who need accommodation. Let's understand that. There are people who want to build. They just want land. They don't want government house. There are people who want duplexes. There are people who want semi-detached and fully detached houses. There are people who just want a flat. A one-bedroom flat or two-bedroom flat. And I think those people are the people that are most at risk. And those are the people that should first concern us. Because if we did a survey, you will find out that those people are largely in the majority. If we're talking of an economy in which a lot of people are poor, in which a lot of people are struggling, those are the people that should be our focus. And those are the people we're focusing.